Hey guys, welcome to the fish room. It's Saturday and I've decided to finally break down this 75 and reboot it. I'm thinking I might move my Neolamprologus multifasciatus, the little multi-shell dwellers over here. Right now it has 3 Cyprichromis temporalis species shell, which are another shell dweller, but they're large, they're aggressive, and I honestly don't want to work with them anymore. So I'm going to try and find them a home, but in the meantime I'm going to move them to a smaller tank so that I can set this one up in the way that I want. And all I've done is drain it most of the way down. I'm pulling out the decor. I'm going to scoop out all this duckweed. A lot of times with my aquariums, especially my personal aquariums like this one, a lot of random fish end up together that I don't know what to do with otherwise. So I'm wrangling the duckweed so that I can see into the tank to catch fish. So this tank was set up with a lot of shells, a lot of big rocks, various cave structures, and a whole bunch of crap. But again, this isn't a species. I don't even remember how I ended up with this species, in all honesty. It's probably an impulse control problem on my part. One of the things when designing this fish room, and my stands in particular that I did, was make it so that they were stepped like this so that I had more room to reach into the tanks for big rocks like that and big pieces of wood. Otherwise, it's really difficult to get any significant decor into the aquarium. So things got pretty busy around here. I had lots of customers, we had an ice storm. So I didn't end up getting to film a lot of the catching of the fish. I ended up pulling out several Cyprichromis temporalis shell. I posted on Facebook, hey, anybody want these? If so, if you can come get them today, they're yours for free. Needless to say, they were gone very quickly. I drained and filled the tank a bunch of times. I just stuck in some lava rock. And I think what I'm going to do with this is turn it into a giant shell dweller tank. But this is basically just a tank set up with some African cichlid substrate, meaning it has crushed coral in it, which buffers that pH and hardness, which I also think will be good for these guys. It's got a lot of sand mixed in as well, so they'll still be able to excavate with it. Again, I put in a ton of different escargots, seashells, and giant apple snail shells. And then I'm trying to catch my shelly colony from my other tank to be able to move in here. So once this clears up, I'll show you what I've done. Now, I'm not going to put any live plants in here. There are some coolie loaches and some Ancestris plecos in there that I didn't bother catching. They'll be fine with the shellies. And that's where I stand, so we'll see how this goes. So this tank is in a pretty awkward spot in the fish room. It's sort of where 2 sets of racks sandwiched together, so I can't get a straight-on shot. The idea with setting this tank up was that I would create different areas for the fish. As you can see, this is the shelly side, and they're really happy. They're so adorable, and they pretty much stick to these shells. But as you can also see, that is about a quarter of this 75-gallon tank. Now I've stacked a bunch of lava rock over here to create crevices and nooks and crannies for the potential of future fry, and just honestly because I like the look. But I've left almost all the mid-water and top water open, and that's for these Sardine Cichlids, Cyprichromis leptosoma, that I have picked up for this tank. Now they're not going to be colored up yet, and they're going to be young, probably about 1.5 to 2 inches. And they come from all over the open water areas of Lake Tanganyika. Now what I find is so fascinating about them is that they have a spawning behavior that I've never raised before, and that's their open water spawners. So let's go ahead and get the fish in the tank, and then we'll talk a little bit more about them. So this is the fish I got. You can see where they get their name, Sardine Cichlids. From what I've read, despite being meat eaters, oh boy, the color. Can you guys see that? There's already a blue iridescence to these guys in the bag. Oh, yes. Now, you guys know I don't acclimate. Those are the Sardine Cichlids. You can already see what's obviously a male in the back there, that bright color. As they settle in, they'll move up in the water. Now these are bicolors, and I'll put their full Latin name as well as their collection information. But wow. So the thought is that these guys will utilize most of the water as they grow and leave the shellies largely alone. Providing activity in the middle and top of the tank, and letting me see a spawning behavior that I've never encountered before. Apparently the male has tubercles on his ventral fin that appear like eggs, and the female will lay eggs in the midwater, collecting them in her mouth, and then also try and collect the tubercles on his ventral fin, essentially getting a mouthful and fertilizing the eggs. So it's going to take a while for these guys to hit maturity. Now I know Cyprichromis can range in size, and I'll be sure to update you guys on this tank pretty frequently. It's been a while since I set up something really different for myself, and this is one of the few tanks I've ever set up that didn't have plants in the planning. That doesn't mean I couldn't add some, but right now I'm not planning on it. You can see the scale. Oh boy, they're going to be gorgeous. Now I ordered 10 of them in the hopes that I would get a good range of male and female. And it appears that I have. You know, cool fish are cool fish, and there's so many cool fish that I want to try. I really hope to set up a Calvus tank at some point, but I think I'm going to need about a 120-gallon tank to do that community the way I really want to. I've been working really hard in the fish room to reboot a lot of my old tanks, and I know this is quite a departure for me. But I think what I love most about this hobby is that I get to learn new things every day. And by diversifying into Lake Tanganyikan tangs and other dwarf fishes from the area, I am learning a ton. They're really fascinating and quite beautiful. Now my fish room will never be full of African cichlids, but there's no denying they're beautiful, and the spawning behaviors are really fascinating. I can't wait to learn more about them. So I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing me sort of rework a bunch of tanks. I've been trying to make them a little bit less utilitarian and a little more aesthetically pleasing, and I have been getting the same breeding results by doing so I'm really geeked. As always, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I really look forward to learning more and more about these fish. Stop by my Instagram as well as my website, MsJinx.com, where you can find my upcoming speaking engagements, my current stock list, and information on all things nano. I also asked you guys on my Facebook business page to share some of your favorite pictures of cichlids, so make sure you stop by there and contribute to that as well.